Good morning, everyone. It's been a while. It's been a while, and I'm glad to be back. Sorry for no stream for the past 2 days. That's because I was taking some time off, had a good weekend, went on some dates, and I think life is going back a little bit. So, sorry for not having streams, but I am back. I needed to find some time off and I was thinking about this channel, this future, what we're gonna talk about after Wonderland. So don't worry, I got that covered. I'm doing all the research, and I promise, I will present to you guys all of my findings and the stuff that I learned. But this goes both ways. I want to learn from you guys as well. It's not only me learning. I want to learn from you guys because I know you guys know a lot more about this stuff than I do. And that's the best way for me to learn is to talk to you guys and read through your chats and interacting with you guys. So this is my goal, and I think I'm very grateful to have you guys, and I'm very grateful that you guys are here. So good morning, everyone. GM. Now, I want to say that for this stream in the future, it will not be only about Wonderland. I know a lot of you found me through Wonderland when it was at the height, but at this moment, the project seems to be stalling or the project seems to be dying. So we kind of want to move on to other things. There are so much more innovations in DeFi, so much more projects that are happening, and we want to cover them all. We want to know not just about DeFi as well. We want to know more about the whole crypto world, all the different news that's happening around us, all the price actions. Because, like, what is the end goal? Well, there are two types of people in this field. One is the people who want to make a ton of money, get rich, retire, and do whatever they want. And then the second type is people who are actually interested in this technology and people who want to see this technology succeed. And these are, I think, we are kind of like an intersection of both. Like part of us want to be one camp and the other part wants to be on another camp. So we want to, let me turn off this thing for a bit. So we want to be in both camps, and that's what we want to do. So, all right, there you go. So that's what we want. And yes, we will talk about different projects, and it's not only about making money. This whole thing, it's not about making money. Sure, like we all want to be rich and, get some money here and there to make our lives easier so we don't have to deal with stuff. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that we know what exactly is happening with the things that we are invested in. And that's the point of this whole thing. So anyway, that's a bit of introduction and some explanation. And for those of you who are asking, like how was my life, my dates and stuff, it's going well. I met some really good people. There are some really good girls out there. So we want to get to know people and give a chance for love, I guess. All right, no, let's talk about. There are a lot of things to cover today, so let's go right into it. So the first thing we want to do is do a market update. Now the price action has been going weirdly this morning. We actually went down quite a bit. So Ethereum is now back to 3,000. It was as high as 3,200. So we dropped $200 for what? That's like almost 10%, 66%, 7% overnight. I'm not sure what happened, but looking at the news, the futures for Nasdaq is being down too. So basically, the Russian invasion has been called off apparently by the Russian forces, but the Americans are saying they see no sign of that. So we have some confusion in the market, and generally the stock market is getting confused, and so is the crypto market. So we are tied to that geopolitical events right now. So as far as like the pricing goes for Bitcoin, it's, if you look at the 1-day chart, I like to look at long term. So if you look at the long 1-day chart, we just got out of the channel barely, but it seems like if we reject this right here, it's gonna be bad for crypto. And I don't think we want to anywhere inside of this channel again, even though we are still looking quite bearish if you look at this chart. But this is the first time we actually hit the upper channel compared to the last 4 or 5 months since November. Jeez, and we're in February already. Time flies, right? So since November, we haven't hit the upwards trend of this downtrend channel. So this is the first time we hit that here, and now we're trying to stay above it. And that is the current, I guess, analysis for this chart. And we really don't want to go back into this channel. If we do go back in, there's a huge risk of us touching 29, well, right here first, and then eventually to the 2500s. I don't think any of us wants to see 25,000 Bitcoin. Although this here is going to be a great support at 30K. So yeah, please, I don't want to see this as a dead cat bounce. So we want good news to continue to happen and for us to go back up. Same thing with Ethereum. It seems to be hitting the upwards channel, and if we do go back down, it could go to the 1800s, which is pretty bad. Might be a good buying opportunity if you have cash, but this in general, it doesn't seem so good. Anyway, let's look at our favorite coin, which is WMemo, or Time Token. Now, we haven't looked at this chart for a bit, and as you can see, my worm chart is totally invalidated right now because the worm doesn't want to go up. It's just sad. The worm, like I was pretty optimistic the worm's gonna go up, you know, right there. But it looks like the worm needs to do some more side moving action. It seems to be going stabilized at the side. So there is a reason for that, which we will go over in a bit. But it seems like we are going to be in a sideways action for a bit until new further development is announced. So, and it does seem like at the moment everything else is dropping. We got the Harmony tokens dropping back to 18 cents. Jewel back to $7. It was at $9, man. Man, I didn't take it out. It was at 9.6. So all the other coins are kind of struggling, FTM too. So we are following Bitcoin or market in general, and we are back down to $2 trillion total market cap. So that is a quick update of our crypto portfolio. So we will go over what's happening with Wonderland in a bit. But first, I want to go over a few things. Now, this is one of the big news. So BlockFi, for those of you who don't know, is a company where they give you, it's a centralized finance company for crypto, where if you lend them your money or any coin, they will give you quite a bit of interest back for lending them the coin. Well, they just got fined by SEC for $100 million. So SEC is the United States Security and Exchange Commission. They oversee all of these security offerings in the markets in general. So if you're a company that offering security services, you need to go through them to register. So basically, they got fined $100 million. Now that's a lot by SEC standards. But in terms of crypto, we know $100 million is not that much because if, for example, the Wonderland Treasury was like almost $1 billion, right? So $100 million may not be much for a company like BlockFi, but this does send a signal to all of the other companies which offer similar services. So for their competitors like Crypto.com, right? Again, I am not affiliated with any of these companies, but basically Crypto.com, Gemini Earn, they all do similar things. They give you these really high APY, 14.5%. Now compare that to traditional banks, which is giving you about 0.05% on your savings in the bank. Crypto.com can offer you 14.5% on your crypto. So that's on stablecoins. So you can deposit USDC and they'll give you 14% APY on that. Now, how do people wondering like how exactly were they able to do that? Well, there is a catch to it. Of course, there's always a catch. So let's see, Gemini gives you, I think about 7% on your Gemini stablecoin. So same type of thing. All of these services do the same thing. They take your coin and then they invest it. Or they lend it out to institutional investors for higher amount of return than what they give you. That's how they make the profit. Maybe it's like a slightly more than what you get, 14. Maybe they get like 18% or 17%. They take the 5%, 3%, and then they give you the 14.5%. So this will attract a lot of people into the platform to deposit their money, because who wants to put their money in the bank when the bank can only give you 0.05%, right? But what is the golden rule in crypto? The golden rule in crypto is the higher the APY, the higher the risk. So, of course, in the US bank, you can deposit your money, and the United States bank will have this FDIC insurance. If the bank goes out of business, you're guaranteed to pay out a certain amount of money. I think that was like $250,000 per account. So they are insured in the United States banks. And if the banks fail, the government can come in and bail them out. Now, what's the difference? Crypto.com, Gemini Earn, or BlockFi, they all do similar things. They say, okay, you deposit your money, we'll make it work. We'll take it to work. We'll lend it out to somebody and do this stuff, and then we'll give you 14.5%. Now, with this higher APY, there's a higher risk. What is the risk? The risk is that you are not insured. Now, that's the biggest risk of them all. You are not insured. What does that mean? That means if Crypto.com gets hacked, if your account gets hacked, if you go out of business, or if the institution that they lent the money out goes out of business. Let's say they lend the money out to ABC Corp. And then ABC Corp takes the money, leverages like 10x to put in some risky stuff, and then they go bust. That means your money is gone. There is no way you can make your money back. That's the risk. So I recommend you guys to read through all of their fine prints. All of these sites, they all have these fine prints at the bottom about what happens with the money. So they are not responsible if the company goes out of business, if they lost some money to hacks. Some companies will try to reimburse you because they don't want the bad press, but that's not guaranteed. They don't have to do that. So that's why you get this high APY. Now, what is the SEC saying about these companies? Well, if we read through this whole thing here, I read through it. So basically, they charge BlockFi with, well, BlockFi paying twice, $50 million each for each stock or each act in the United States government. So one of them is the Investment Company Act of 1940. Now, these are time-tested acts by the SEC. They can enforce it. So BlockFi agreed to pay a $50 million penalty. Let me zoom this in. BlockFi agreed to pay to a $50 million penalty and seize its unregistered offer and sales of the lending product, BlockFi interest accounts. So this is their lending thing we just spoke about. So they paying $50 million because they were unregistered. So they will attempt to bring its business with the provision of the Investment Act within 60 days. So they're going to try to restructure the business to make sure it's aligned with the act within 60 days. So BlockFi's parent company announced that it intends to register under the Security Act 1933 and offer and sell a new lending products. Now, they were not registered before, and that's why there's a fine. So BlockFi agreed to pay additional $50 million in fines to 32 states to settle similar charges. Now, for those of you who live in New York, you cannot sign up for BlockFi for their project. You also cannot sign up for Crypto.com because they are unregistered in New York, and New York has a very, very strict law about that. Now, however, Gemini Earn, you can do it in New York because Gemini Earn actually has a license to do it, to offer this product. Now, that is the only difference. I don't think Gemini will get in trouble, but I think Crypto.com might also get into a similar trouble with the SEC. Now, Gary Gensler, remember, this is a guy we thought that could be very pro-crypto, and I do want to think that this is actually good news for crypto, so I'll explain. So basically, they're saying that BlockFi lending platform offers securities like this product, which say immediate notice. Blah, blah, blah. So they want them to shut them down. You can't offer this service without going to the SEC, without going to register your service. And BlockFi admitted they just don't want to take this further. They just like, okay, we'll pay the $100 million fine. So here it explains what the product does. So BlockFi failed to do so. They failed to exempt from the SEC registration. That's why BlockFi, it operated more than 18 months as an unregistered investment company because it issued securities and also held more than 40% of its total assets excluding cash, in investment securities, including loans of crypto asset to institutional borrowers. See, this is what I was talking about. That's what they do with your money. They loan it out to institutional borrowers to get a higher APY and then pay you the difference. That's how they do it. That's how they make money. It's a money printer. It's a really good money printer because if you think about it, you take on all the risks. All they do is they are the middle person. They lend it out to someone else. So compared to DeFi of what we do, this is totally going against the idea of decentralization. This is centralized DeFi at its core. And Crypto.com, BlockFi, Gemini, they're all middle person. They just take your money, lend it to someone, and they take the cut for that. That's very risk-free business, if I would say. Definitely printing a ton of money. And then the order also finds that BlockFi made a false and misleading statement for more than 2 years on its website concerning the level of risk in its loan portfolio and lending activity. Without admitting or denying the SEC finding, BlockFi agreed to cease and desist in order to prohibit it from violating the registry. So BlockFi basically said, all right, screw you guys, I don't want to go to court and go to this long battle, we're just going to pay you $100 million. That is the gist of this whole news. It's pretty... I think it's actually bullish for crypto. Why? Well, if you think about it, this is actually a type of regulation and transparency into what the SEC is thinking about products like this. And I think it's providing some sort of precedence for any future companies that wants to do the thing. When you have this, it sets a rule, right? Like if the next company who wants to offer same type of security, they probably want to go through this whole thing, go through these acts, register with the SEC. So there's more chance that the next company that does this will go through a more traditional path to make sure that they are compliant. I think Gemini does it really well. Again, I am not affiliated with Gemini, but they went through the whole rigorous process of registering with the SEC, registering with the New York law, which is one of the strictest in the country to offer this product. I think this will tell a lot of companies to do the right thing. I think Crypto.com might do that next to make sure they're not getting fined. But they're printing money right now. 14.5% is very attractive to the average investor. So I think this is good news. But what's bad about this is, also SEC told them to shut down their servers in the United States until all of this is compliant. Now, what does this say? This is actually bad for the United States because now Crypto.com or all of these companies can offer it outside of the United States. They don't have to offer it inside the United States. And what does that mean? That means the US will probably lag behind in terms of crypto innovation or companies that are offering services for crypto. It will actually create a less competitive atmosphere within the United States compared to the rest of the world. So, but again, this provides a clarity for what we want to go forward, what the SEC think about this. And in the end, what can I see this $100 million? I think this $100 million is more of like a bribe to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam wants his share. You don't want the company to make all this crazy money and the Uncle Sam not getting any of it, right? So you got to pay the man off $100 million. So that is the crypto news for BlockFi. It's, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. It's kind of weird, but I think it's actually a good path moving forward. So let me know what you think in the chat or in the comments below. So that is it for this news. Now let's talk about another news, which is Meta. So remember, Facebook changed its name from Facebook to Meta. It's now called Meta Platforms Inc., which is stupid. In my opinion, it's a really stupid change. So how's that going? Well, if you look at Facebook's charts, they've been destroyed. They're pretty much at a 52-week low right now. It's trading at $213. Whoa, it's down 3.8% pre-market. So it's down so much in the pre-market. It's pretty much the worst price it's been in a year. So what's happened? They actually lost $10 billion in their metaverse investment last quarter. So what does that mean? I mean, it's still, in my opinion, it's still a bit too early to say that it's not working. I want, like, as much as people like to hate Mark Zuckerberg, I think this dude actually is pretty smart. He's a really smart guy. He knows the stuff the dude knows how to survive in this crazy social media atmosphere. And he bought Instagram for like $2 billion, and now it's like paying off so much. Instagram is worth at least $100 billion, in my opinion. It's one of the most popular social platform in the world. Without Instagram, I think Facebook would have died off a long time ago. So he foresaw that, and he bought Instagram very quickly. And now there's a ton of competitions out there, right? There's Snapchat, there's TikTok, and TikTok's totally getting a lot of Facebook's share. In fact, in their quarterly report, Zuckerberg said it himself. He said TikTok is their biggest competitor. So that means we are going to see a lot of pivots from this guy. He's going to think of ways to think forward that other people don't see. And what he thinks in the future is the metaverse, which is like a weird term. I like having, as a gamer, I play games when I grew up. I see the idea of metaverse as something weird. I have a VR set as well. I have an Oculus from this guy. Let me turn on the music. Sorry, there's like a background music. Yeah, I got some dumbasses outside blasting music in the car. Anyway, so he sees the metaverse as the future, and it will be where we're moving towards. Now, is he going to be right? Maybe. There's a chance that he could be right. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think about metaverse. The word is so dumb. As a gamer, I'm in the metaverse like pretty much every other day. When I play games, you are immersed in this new world that you do things. And I gotta say, it's super addicting. It's super fun, especially when you have friends there. And it is something that a lot of gamers are already aware of. It seems like what Zuckerberg is trying to do is to bring that aspect of the gaming world to the real world. And instead of games, now you have real life interactions between people. And what he sees through it now, like I think with the current technology of what we have this VR set and stuff. I think that's what they think it's currently possible with metaverse. Now, can it be something else? Can it be non-VR? I think so, but I just don't know what it is yet. So there's this article by Protocol saying that this idea is working, but the idea of this metaverse requires a lot of computing tech, but no one knows how to build. I think he's seeing things. Metaverse might be a better concept in about 10 plus years. I think in 10 years, we can develop a ton of technologies to make this possible. If you look at these things like Unreal Engine, I don't know if you've seen it, but the graphic there is so much nicer and so realistic, it's almost impossible to tell it from the real world. So that is a step moving towards the right direction. Now, if we can have VR in that level of immersiveness, I think metaverse might make sense. But however, I think at the current technology, we don't have that power. So the closest thing I can think about in VR in which it's like so immersive is Half-Life Alyx. This game is a VR game, and the developers of this game created such an immersive world in there. It just seems like you couldn't tell from the real world or the fake world. Like you had to watch the videos of this game of people playing to understand, because this is the top notch. This is what our technology can do at the moment to make it immersive. If you see things like that in VR, you couldn't tell if it's real or not. It's really, really immersive. So I play VR games where things are super immersive. No, it's not what you're thinking of, but it can work if you do it right. So I think he might be on the right course if we have the technologies to do it. So right now there is no technology which we can, I don't think we're at that level yet. And we are sort of hitting the peak of what our technology can do. And for there to be metaverse to be versatile in the real world, we need a really hard innovation to make this happen. So that is what I think. And it seems like, you know, he's going all in, he's doubling down. So this is just yesterday. He's now calling all of his employees at Facebook So it used to be Facebook, right? You're gonna be like Facebooker or something. Now he wants everybody to call each other MetaMates. Now that's a really stupid name. Imagine calling yourselves MetaMates for working in a company that used to be Facebook. So he's definitely doubling down. This guy's doubling down. Now I heard he cried after this last earning call where his eyes were super red during the earning company all hands after he dropped like the dude lost like $25 billion in a day. Like that's the most anyone had lost in their whole life. $25 billion on paper in a single day. That's on this day. That's the worst day of his life probably. Anyway, I heard he was crying, but anyway. So now he's doubling down. He's saying we're gonna be MetaMates. So the new model for their company is called MetaMates Me. So I'm not sure what this means. So I think it's referring to this saying called shipmates and stuff. About we all on a ship, maybe a sinking ship, and we all in this together. I guess that's their wagami, right? That's their idea of wagami. So yeah, the Zuck, he's going all in. This guy is going all in. All in on MetaMates, on Metaverse. Now, is this going to be good for crypto? Like, why are we talking about this, right? Well, crypto itself, people were like, oh, Metaverse is not only about games. Metaverse is actually about ownership of virtual items, like NFTs and stuff, right? Well, if you build a Metaverse, NFTs, what are NFTs in the Metaverse? NFTs in Metaverse are going to be things that you possess. Things that you can prove it's yours in the Metaverse. Now again, going back to the analogy of video games. Now in a video game, you can get items, right? You can level up, buy items, get really rare items, you find it in game, and say it's yours because it only appears in your inventory. Who controls it? Well, the game company controls it. The logic controls it, and that's how you know it's yours. Now, can the game company take that away from you? Of course they can. They can just press a button and delete your account and you're done. So that's the difference between NFTs and Metaverse items. Because the item stays with you forever. Like if I buy a hero in DeFi Kingdoms, that hero belongs to me forever. I can trade it, I can do whatever I want with it. It's mine. There's no way for the game company to take it away from me. So that is the take on items in Metaverse. So I am kind of bullish in that aspect, that you have true ownership of what you buy and you can prove it by the blockchain. Now what I'm not bullish on Metaverse is the current atmosphere, the current technology. I don't think we can support a true immersive Metaverse where instead of going out on a restaurant or going to a concert, we experience it in VR, which is weird. I think I want to go to a concert with real people around them, right? I don't want to go to VR. And hence this example. So Facebook or Meta hosted a Foo Fighters Super Bowl VR concert in its Oculus Quest platform. So there's like a video game, sorry, the VR platform where you can go and watch the concert in real time. Not real time, actually, it was a pre-recorded concert. But there's like a 3D camera, so you can actually walk around in the concerts to view the concert from any angle. That's basically it. And you can listen to it too. So basically, it was a total failure. They actually wanted this concert to start at 8:05, but you can't even get in until 8 p.m. So when 8 p.m. comes around, everybody tried to go in and they all crashed the service. When they crash the service, no one can join. And that was a total failure. And when they do go in, it's like a weird angle. They got these, I don't know, you guys seen those 360 videos on YouTube? It's kind of similar concept. You go in there, you watch these things. It's like very blurry. It's exactly like that. When I see it at VR concerts, I've been there. It's like this. It's kind of blurry and you get this weird angle. This you see this black thing on the bottom right. It's like part of the screens where you can't see it. It's like a weird experience. And when you do go in there, you have virtual avatars of people around you where you watch things. It's very weird. And these virtual avatars, they look like very cartoony. So also your angle is dictated by the person who recorded this whole concert in VR, in 360. So if they move, it's totally killing the immersive vibe. You don't even feel like, in some way it can feel like you're there, but in some way you can't. You know you're not there. So that is the, yeah, you see like fish eye lens. So that is the difference. So I'm I think there's a lot of learning to do in this whole thing. I think over time we might get better, but we are moving towards that direction. So I don't think we will be there until another 5 or 10 years that's passed. I think people will be like, oh yeah, metaverse is totally going to be the future. It is the thing to do in 10 years. Not now. We're not there yet as far as technology goes. So that is my take on this whole metaverse thing. It's 9:28. We have 2 minutes until the market opens. So we're going to check the market a little bit. And after that, we'll go into the next topic. Whoa, it seems like the price of all of our... Wow, the stuff in our watch list are getting wrecked. So AMC is down. At least it's 19 bucks now. Oh, the other thing is that about the metaverse, Disney is going in on metaverse too. They actually announced a executive yesterday to oversee the metaverse strategy. So Disney, it's big. They have a lot of assets under the belt. They have a lot of stories. They have a lot of animation, you know, animated series and Marvel and all that stuff. So what they're trying to do is think about how they can take the metaverse, how to take immersive technology into their belt and produce content in there. Now, if anyone can produce a great animated experience, it's Disney. So we want to see, this is actually pretty bullish on that. I want to see what Disney can do for metaverse. And I want to see what kind of immersive experience they can do to prove ourselves wrong. Stuff like this shouldn't happen. But I think Disney would do a much better job to make sure that their content gets seen in a nice immersive way. They're very creative people in the company, and we want to see them do this. Anyway, the casino's open. It's 9:30. The casino's open, and it seems like we are... Whoa, Shopify is down to 889. Jesus. So we got a lot of stocks getting totally wrecked. Palantir, 13 bucks. Man, I have a lot of bags. These are all my bags. And it seems like the market is opening quite red today. We will eventually go back up, I hope. I don't think this news about Ukraine and stuff, it's going to be a huge thing. So I think this will carry over. The problem is the inflation in the country. We are getting quite a bit of inflation. And let's look at this in real time. So crypto and the market is correlated. So when the market goes up, crypto tends to go up. So when the market opens, yeah, so we are moving with the market and we'll see what happens. It's going to be quite volatile for the first few minutes. But we'll keep an eye out on the interest rate because that will affect crypto as well. And we want to see what the Fed's gonna do to fight the interest, fight the inflation. So let's look at some comments, guys. Well, the market's down more and more, but let's look at some comments. So yes, I am doing research on Titano. I know Titano's got a rug pull early. We will talk about that. There's a Tomb, there's Drip. I know about all of these. Don't worry, guys. I am doing research, and I want to present it to you guys in a nice, well-researched manner. We'll go into it. But yeah, that is my take on metaverse. And hopefully, Wagami. Now, I want to go over some news. So for those of you, I know, it's Wonderland. It's Wonderland. Yes, Miguel, right on time. Let's talk about Wonderland. So since we last met, the big news is that Sifu does not want to return to Wonderland. I know there's like a giant proposal. Remember this proposal to return Sifu to Wonderland? I think a lot of people are turning around. They say, all right, since we're already down like 90%, why don't we just get this guy back so we can get our investment back, see if we can do something. If we're down 90%, what's the point, right? Let's get someone so we can get back to 100% or something. No, I don't mean like lose all of it, but trying to get this guy back because he seems to know what he's doing. Well, it seems like Sifu doesn't want to go back. He said, unfortunately, I have decided not to return to Wonderland and have asked the team to leave the post in general, not move to RFC. I love my supporters and most of the community, but I am no longer comfortable working here. I'm very sad to say that we can't go back to the way things were, and I had to give up my baby. I will always be the co-founder, and I will remain active in the background on Discord. I am also once again the largest investor, having purchased approximately $12 million worth during the past week. Still seems undervalued. Thank you for all your support. It has been extremely meaningful to me and will always be remembered. So basically, he bought $12 million worth of WMemo and said he's one of the largest investors in WMemo. Now, is that a smart move? I think it might be a smart move. So if he did bought like $12 million worth, he's going to be a very large investor. Now what's coming up is we are going to have a rage quit option coming. When that rage quit option passes, we will be able to cash out at our backing price. I think it's probably around 39K or 40K if we're lucky. So if Sifu bought somewhere down here and the rage quit option passes, he's leave his hand clean of this project. That's unfortunately the real thing. I mean, the real take on this. Like, sure, he looks good. Looks like he's still supporting with $12 million worth. But I think he's buying it thinking that we're going to vote. The vote's going to go towards a rage quit option. So he's also been like arguing in my thread. So he's very responsive in my thread here. If you look down, like he's been arguing against this guy on my Twitter. Sifu himself arguing about some guys accusing, again, it's the same people accusing of things without any evidence. So I mean, you can totally read this. There's a lot of nice insights about what he's thinking, but he's really active under my thread. So yeah, suggest you guys take a look. That is, I'll link it in the chat. Yeah. So basically, okay, let's go into the rage quit option. Now, I have not really read this whole thing much, but I want to basically they want to do two phases of this whole thing, how to rage quit. Now, TLDR is they want to find a nice way to find a snapshot, find a set amount of people who wants to rage quit and then give them their money so they can leave. And then leave the rest to people who wants to continue on and stay in there and continue with this project. It's like a compromise for people who wants to quit and people who don't want to quit. Now, the last poll we did, I think all the whales want to quit. A lot of frogs banded together and say, no, we don't want to quit. And eventually the frogs won. And now this is their latest attempt to try to pay out the whales. That's my opinion. That's what it looks like. Rage quit option. I think the people who wants to quit already left. There might be a few people who are still around and want to be like, I actually want to see what price are they going to pay people out. So I'm not going to sell now. I'm just going to wait for it. Oh, jeez. Sorry, the market's getting wrecked. Anyway, so what is this saying? So they want to lay out a plan and execute the rage quit option to allow WMemo holder exit the DAO at a value that's close to treasury backing. Now, what is the treasury backing? Well, we'll talk about it. The rage quit process consists of two phases. Phase 1, snapshot governance. Phase 2, deployment of rage quit contract. So devs are still working, by the way. So let's go to phase 1, snapshot governance. So how are we going to find a snapshot? Or how exactly are we going to rage quit the right people? The goal of the first vote is to decide if the community wants to implement a rage quit contract, which allows WMemo holders to enter a whitelist and exit the DAO at a predetermined value. Not sure what this whitelist is. This will allow DAO to decide if a rage quit option should be implemented. So this first part is we have to vote if we want to do a rage quit. It will be the 5.1 WIP. The snapshot will vote for 7 days. After the vote is over, if the result indicates that the DAO wants to implement a rage quit option, liquidity will be pulled and all trading will be halted until the rage quit option implemented. So if we do want to quit, they're going to pull all liquidity out of Sushi, out of Phantom, out of everywhere. You won't be able to buy or sell your WMemo. And they will pull, basically you can't do anything. No one can do anything. Because Wonderland holds the largest liquidity, maybe a small amount of other people can do the liquidity, can trade, but that won't be much. All liquidity will be pulled. So if you look at the 24-hour volume of WMemo, it's $4.6 million. So there's still quite a bit of money in there traded, but 4.6 million is tiny compared to the overall number. The WIP snapshot has to include the backing price of WMemo, which token holders can expect to receive when doing rage quit, with not more than 5-10% variance to this predetermined price. Now I think 5 to 10% variance is pretty huge. Now what does that mean? Variance is basically plus minus 10%. So the price is like $100, the variance of this, let's say the backing price is $100, then the variance could make this price actually become $110 or $90. So it's like a fluctuation of the price. 5-10% is huge, it's quite big, 10%. Now, so that's the first part. Vote to whether we do a rage quit. Now, the second part is a second snapshot vote to rage quit whitelist will be held. This is figuring out how to do the whitelist. The goal of the second vote is to create a whitelist and allow the treasury to prepare the fund to contract according to the amount of WMemo enters the whitelist. This extra data will increase the efficacy of rage quit contract and slower slippage. The rage quit whitelist snapshot vote will last 4 days. WMemo holders who wish to exit their WMemo token and receive their part of the treasury will need to vote yes in the snapshot. By voting yes, your address will be added to the whitelist. Okay. Very important. If you want to be on this whitelist to rage quit, you have to vote and then you'll be on the whitelist. Once the whitelist snapshot is ended, a 48-hour window will allow the development team and multi-sig to assess the result and prepare the treasury for rage quit. So basically, if you vote on this WIP, your address will be part of the whitelist. And when they do figure out that whitelist and they implement a contract to pay people out from the treasury, you will get paid. So think about it. I want you to think about from Sifu's perspective. This is the guy who bought $12 million worth of WMemo for the past week. He has a lot of money in there. He bought it at the low, basically. So if we somehow end up in the 40,000 range for the backing price, he stands to make 50% plus in a few weeks. So think about that. All the whales who bought the low. So how do we do that? Now, what is the point of this? Let's look at it. So second phase is the deployment of rage quit contract. Now, remember, given this is if we all voted to rage quit. At this stage, the development team has already announced the backing price calculation or WMemo. So this is before this one. Now on this whitelist, the price of WMemo backing price will be announced. Remember, 5 to 10% variance. This price will be announced before you can vote to rage quit. Now, if it's a price that you are satisfied at, you can totally vote for the snapshot and then get your address in the whitelist. If you're not satisfied with it, then you don't have to vote. What's going to happen? No one knows. But if, let's say, they say the backing price is 40K, I think I might vote for it. I just want to get out. Honestly, like that's, I hope it's 40K. So it really depends. Anyway, so deployment of contract. This value together with the whitelist data will be assessed and used to create the rage quit contract. This contract will allow each whitelisted user to exchange their WMemo with the predetermined backing price of 10% slippage. Exactly. So this variance is the 10%, is another word for slippage. So they're going to make a contract and people can rage quit. The rage quit contract will be topped up with the amount needed for the entire whitelist to exit and remain open for 72 hours. After 72 hours, the rage quit contract will be halted and trading of WMemo will start again. We are giving the development team a window of 24 hours to adjust the liquidity and resume trading of WMemo. Now, I think this is well planned. I actually like what Wonderland's doing now. This is all very well planned, and I like the way they are like giving a timeline on these things. Each individual component of rage quit proposal will be listed in this section of WIP. So here's like a summary of what exactly it's going to do. Now, let's talk about treasury backing price. The development team is summarizing the treasury and will present the WMemo backing price of 5-10% maximum variance. The detail of the treasury and how much one WMemo is backed buy will be released and presented to the website prior to WIP5 snapshot. The treasury consists of liquid and illiquid assets. For user to receive maximum benefit, the illiquid asset will not be added to the backing price since it will create a false. Oh man, jeez. All right, I want to see your reaction. Okay, this is kind of new to me. I haven't really read this part. So the price of the W memo backing price is without the illiquid asset in the treasury. Oh, that sucks. The BSGG token is considered an illiquid asset and is therefore excluded from the backing price calculation. Keep in mind that some of the treasury assets are volatile and the backing price can move upward as well as downward. Therefore, the variance of 5% in the backing price is accepted. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because when you provide liquidity, there's impermanent loss as well due to the volatility of crypto. So yeah, that's a surprise to me. You can't, they're not gonna count illiquid asset as part of the backing price calculation. That means the backing price is gonna be lower. It's not gonna be 40K. What I think it's probably gonna be 35K or less. Oh, that sucks. That sucks real bad. Jeez. Well, that's gonna affect my decision for sure. All right, let's talk about the Rage Quit contract. After the whitelist vote has been completed, the development team will assess the data and announce the required asset necessary for the whitelist WMemo holder to exit. The multisig will get the treasury ready and will start the Rage Quit process within 48 hours ending on the whitelist vote. The UI for the Rage Quit will show each whitelisted WMemo address, the capital that can be claimed for the WMemo, respecting the 5-10% variance. Each participant will be able to redeem the WMemo against the backend. All right. So it's just going to update the website where you can go and claim your money. It's kind of like BSGG. So that's it. That's a lot of. So I'm kind of undecided now. What do you guys like want? Let me do a poll. All right. Are you gonna rage quit? Yes, no. All right, I want to see what you guys think. This is like a bit confusing. I mean, not confusing, but I'm undecided now because I didn't know that they were gonna exclude the illiquid asset from the treasury to determine the backing price. Oh, man. Yeah, like D-Wave, I understand. Like, if you're already down 90%, what's the point? You want to hold on to it, right, to see the future. Because the problem is, like, right now, the future is a bit uncertain. So what's going to happen? So they're going to pause all trading of WMemo during the snapshot process. And then when this whole thing blows over, the treasury is going to drop. You guys know that, right? When you rage quit, it really depends on how many people wants to rage quit. When you rage quit, the treasury will drop because we're paying people out from the treasury of their money. Now, this means when the treasury goes down, that means the amount the treasury can make also goes down. They won't make, remember, we used to make like $2 million a day, right? Now we won't be able to make that much because the treasury is not as much. And they had to stop the treasury from making money. They had to return their liquidity pool and all that stuff so they can pay people out. Now, for that to happen again, for us to start making money again, somebody needs to deploy the capital to work, to put it to work. And now, remember, we don't have a treasury manager. We don't have really a good plan going forward. There's people stepping up, but we don't know. It takes time. So it's kind of like a weird ground right now. Honestly, what I would do right now, I might rage quit. It depends on the backing price. If it's like 30K, I'm like, screw that. I'm not going to quit at 30K because we're trading at 27K right now. If it's close to 40K, I might. Even though I'm down like 90%, I might quit at 40%. That's right about the eye of the worm That's kind of my target. But I'll be really, really surprised if the backing price ends up at 40K. Probably not happening. I'll be really, really surprised. Like extremely surprised. Like what is the backing price right now on the site? I'll be extremely surprised if it's 40K as the backing price. So this is the dilemma. We'll have to do some thinking. Yeah, the backing price is 35K. So I think we might, but this is with the illiquid asset, right? So without the illiquid asset, we'd be even lower. So yeah, I think the backing price might be at 32K-ish, which is total shit. I don't want that. I don't really want that. By the way, hit the like button, guys. I really love some like button to help me with the algorithm. Appreciate it. But yeah, okay, let's look at the poll results. Whoa, so it looks like a lot of you don't want to rage quit. Okay, that's good indicator of, yeah, I'm leaning towards no now, because based on the website calculation, like this is with illiquid, we only have 35K backing. So that means without illiquid asset, it might be like what, 32K, 31K, like total shit. No, I wouldn't quit that way. I'd rather let it ride. I'm like, if I'm down 90%, might as well just ride it to zero. It sucks, but it sucks to say that, but yeah. So if you're optimistic about this project's future, you got new treasure or new people coming in, then I recommend you to stay in. But if you want to just quit and get this over with and just leave, basically sell at like 90% loss, then it's also your choice. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. I want you guys to read this, and hopefully you guys can make the best decision. And that is it for this heavy news day. We have, geez, the market's getting killed. So I hope you guys have a good day. I really want us to go back to our former glory days. I really want to, when we all have fun making money. But don't worry, a lot of new content is coming, guys. I am doing research on all of these nice all these nice projects. So I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for sticking around.